I'm actually kind of glad it's been raining the past couple of days while I'm in town, because one of my stories, specific stories, involves rain. Then there was the time that a group of us went over to some kid's yard, and we wound up in some kid's yard, and I was in the yard of somebody I really didn't know, hadn't met until that day. And we're playing outside, and we divvied up Star Wars figures. This person had those, and this person had those. And all of a sudden, it came a gully washer. Huge downburst. We all run for cover. And I turned to this one kid, and I'm like, "Where's my sand people?" And he's like, "Outside." I'm like, "You didn't bring them inside?" You know, it's like the fury that I had at 9 years old, that this kid had not preserved my action figure collection while trying to save his own life, was, I mean, it was through the roof. And of course, the bad thing about it being sand people is their accessories were brown and looked like sticks. So after the rains had stopped, I came back out. I found my figures, but no gaffy sticks. They weren't really easy to discern among mud and sticks. Now here's the irony of recreating something like this for a video. I actually lost one of the gaffy sticks just now. It fell and got washed over here, and I couldn't immediately spot it. The other one I could see, and that's just with one little pitcher of water thrown at the figures, not the huge downburst gully washer that we actually had. However, I had actually planned for that eventuality, and these are not the real ones, these are repros. If I lose these, I know a website where I can buy more, versus the ones that I lost in the 70s. It took me a few years before I could replace them. Kenner had a way to buy a $1 bag full of guns and gaffy sticks and lightsabers and capes, and man, I wish I'd bought 1,000 of those things. So anyway, I do have real weapons for them, but to make this video, I took the precaution of using modern reproductions. Now here's the interesting part of the story. Between that deluge and eventually replacing those gaffy sticks for $1 from Kenner, maybe 4 years later at the most, before I had replacements, actual Kenner replacements, I did have a stopgap measure that I found in this closet at my grandmother's house. And sure enough, you can still find Q-tips on this closet shelf, but back then, they didn't look like this, good for the environment, made of paper. No, in the late 70s or early 80s, whenever this occurred, the shafts were made of translucent blue plastic that you were jamming in your ear. So I pulled the cotton buds off of both sides of 2 of the blue plastic cotton swab shafts and crimped them on the edge so they looked like the Totokia shape, you know, of the gaffy stick. So for quite a few years, my sand people, or at least those 2 of them, had the little translucent blue gaffy sticks that nobody else had. Looked like laser gaffy sticks, you know, very pale blue, not brown, not camouflage. I guarantee you I wasn't going to lose those the next time there was a flood, let me tell you. Eventually, I think I painted them brown, spray painted them brown, and then at some point I just threw them out. I do still have an IG-88 rifle that I painted brown with the same can of spray paint though. So yeah, apparently I made them a rifle so they could shoot at Luke's land speeder. Yep. Customizing. I started customizing at a young age. Which reminds me. Of course, the bad thing about it being sand people is that their accessories are brown and look like sticks. You know, brown. The same color as falling over on camera.